Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick video about the Asus Zephyrus M16 because it officially went on sale last week and instantly sold out. And for those of you unfamiliar, that's essentially just the Intel version of the G15 that I've been using since launch quite happily. And the G15 is still, if you can find it, in my opinion, the best gaming laptop thus far of 2021. And of course, that can always change. The M16 will give it a run for its money, but with pricing and specifications finally being official, even though it instantly sold out last week, we now have a better reference point of what to expect. So at $1,850, you're getting a 16-inch as opposed to 15.6-inch display here in the G15. Aspect ratio also different, and resolution slightly different. So here with the G15, most of you already know that 15 and nearly, it's a little more than a half-inch display, is a 16 by 9, 2560 by 1440 resolution IPS panel. Of course, 165 hertz refresh rate, and it is color accurate. One of the reasons I own it as a content creator and gamer. The M16 2560 by 1600 resolution, so you're getting a little more vertical resolution, and it is also 165 hertz, but as mentioned, 16 inches, so a little more real estate. One of the things I do like about the M16 is that there is nearly, it's beyond 90% screen to body ratio. So here with the G15, where we all know it has the infamous bezel right over here, that bezel has essentially been eliminated. And I'll just give you a quick look at that, and then I'm going to get more into what to expect. So there's that bezel. Granted, it's upside down. That's because of my custom skin. Keyboard, weight, fit, and finish are virtually identical. It's really about what's under the hood. So the first reason I'm underwhelmed with the M16, even though, again, I'm generally an Intel user, is that even though it has Thunderbolt 4, which I wish this machine had, and that display also supports Dolby Vision, the Intel 11th Gen Core i9 that comes with it, which is the 11900H, is an impressive brand new CPU. It supports Gen 4 NVMe drives, which this does not, and those of you that follow my channel know that I have Gen 4 drives that I would love to implement into this laptop, but simply can't leverage that additional speed. But all of that aside, it's the pricing. You're getting a 3060. That is an NVIDIA RTX 3060 as opposed to the 3070 in this model, and their pricing is identical. So this reflects that, generally speaking, AMD is more value-centric, and, well, this reflects that. Furthermore, yes, you can make the argument, well, the panel on the new M16 is superior, but with a 3060, I'm not so sure. Now, I still anticipate that you'll be able to run pretty much just about any title maxed out on native res with the display. The power brick, I believe, is 230 watts as opposed to the 200-watt brick that comes with this. So that's another thing to be aware of. It does have a 1 terabyte NVMe Gen 4 drive, which is another added bonus, which you could look at as another reason for the M16 being more expensive. But beyond that, and the Thunderbolt 4, they being Asus, has not integrated HDMI 2.1, something that I had hoped, but we already knew wasn't coming. Power delivery is something you can do Type-C via Type-C, just like here. There's only a single Thunderbolt 4 port, for those of you that are wondering. And the RAM, just like here, 8 gigs of the 16 is soldered to the board. So they really share almost everything in common, other than, of course, the actual power brick being higher wattage and the CPU under the hood. The other thing, which I don't really feel is warranted or something that we have to justify in terms of pricing, is that it does have a webcam, something the G15 should have had as well. But just one word of wisdom, but possibly not necessarily something to be worried about. A lot of you are not a fan of the LEDs being on the back of the machine here, because when the machine is actually opened up, we all know that then you can actually see them. But a bigger concern is that the ventilation is all the output of the fans, which do a fairly good job at keeping this thin and lightweight gaming powerhouse in line, is dissipating onto this bezel. And the bezel, again, is fairly thick. I mean, that's a chin if there ever was one on a 2021 laptop. And that initially was something I was not in love with the G15. I like a clean, modern look, and everything about the G15 delivers on that except for that chin. Now, as I mentioned, with the M16, the chin is gone, but I'm not sure if that's going to be beneficial for those of you that were concerned about the heat hitting the display. Now, instead of hitting the frame of the display, it will be hitting that nearly bezel-less panel. And I can't imagine that that's going to be beneficial in the long term. Again, because anyone who was concerned about it hitting the plastic frame, now it's going to be hitting the display. Now, I'm not here to tell you that that's going to break the machine or over time shorten its lifespan. But if you were concerned about this machine, I would obviously be more concerned about the M16. But overall, same keyboard, supposedly they're pitching slightly improved audio. I'm expecting very similar audio performance, same trackpad, same basically great all-around thin and light workhorse, but with the added bonus, as I've mentioned, of Thunderbolt 4 and Gen 4 NVMe drive support. Now, even though I am a huge proponent of Gen 4 drives, I think, again, as I stated, anyone who knows, well, you know. Here's a drive I wish that I could be booting from right now from Sabrent. Best-in-class 4 terabyte Gen 4 drive with read and write speeds that will blow your mind. But truth be told, even though it's great to future-proof with this, software optimization is really relevant, and there aren't that many pieces of software that can leverage the difference between Gen 3 and Gen 4. In fact, you may even be better off waiting for Gen 5, possibly, because by then I imagine we are going to see more solid and stable support. But what I'm really getting at here is that with all of those things that come together, again, at the same price, I think, the fact that we're getting two great new processors here with the Ryzen 9 5900 and, of course, with the Intel, the 11900H, they're both 8-core, they're both very competent, and I'm expecting similar battery life between the two. Is it really worth the extra money, the premium, for the Intel build? Again, you are getting what should be a better display, possibly at the risk of that display's lifespan being shortened by the fact that heat will be blowing on it constantly. You are getting Thunderbolt 4, and you are getting a webcam, and you are getting Gen 4 NVMe drives. To me personally, seeing that pricing for a 3060 has really validated for me yet again that the G15 was the right choice from the very beginning. So basically reiterating that the G15 I still feel is the king of the hill, and it's not just because I own it, because we all know I could sell this and get an M16 very easily if the M16 comes back into stock, because this is still permanently sold out. And anyone that follows my channel, even though I've stated it over and over again in this video, already knows I'm not a loyalist to AMD. In fact, this is my first AMD machine, specifically, that also happened to cost, a decent amount of money. Now, I did get it at $1750. The price has gone up since then, but I think that, the Intel variant is exactly that. If you want Thunderbolt, if you want Gen 4, I mean, I would love to have all of those things, but if anyone would say to me, would you pay the same price to downgrade from the 3070 to the 3060 to get those? My answer would be no. Now, I don't know what the draw is, if the TDP is the same going to the GPU, and I will do my best to get an M16, even though I have no relationship with Asus at the time of this video or any of the others, and I did purchase this for any of you that are wondering. The skin is an M2 skin. Check out that video if you're wondering about that. They do nice clean cuts, custom designs. Again, I'm really happy with what I have here. My chief competing machine with this was the Gigabyte Aero 15, the XC specifically. But seeing that M16 pricing, there is no way, just out of being loyal to Intel, and that being, the chip I've grown many years with, both in childhood and adulthood, gaming, video editing, photo editing. The fact of the matter is AMD has made a beast here. on a 35-watt platform, and I would not downgrade to a 3060 to pick up the benefits I've mentioned. Again, the webcam, the Dolby Vision, and of course, Thunderbolt 4 and Gen 4 NVMe drives. And for many of you, I don't think that will be the difference either. I still can't excuse no webcam on this machine, but again, at the same price, there's no way that I'm buying a 3060 over a 3070 with the things I've mentioned. So wanted to share it with all of you. And I do anticipate the battery life is going to be worse on the Intel machine. Maybe not. I hope that it is better, because I feel like they need a little bit of a greater list of attributes in order just to justify the higher price. And I'm kind of shocked, because Intel does still have the ability to undercut AMD. So the fact that the machines are neck and neck, I'm not, obviously that was an Asus decision, but I don't think it fares well for the M16, even though I think the M16 is a more attractive looking machine with that nearly bezel-less design, certainly more modern, more contemporary looking than this. But again, from a longevity standpoint and build quality standpoint, I don't know if all of that ventilation going directly onto the IPS panel, I don't know of any machine that really is going through that. I'm sure there are other ones that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but specifically gaming workhorse, even semi-workstation-esque laptops like this that have that sort of design issue. And anyone that's followed my coverage knows that I've had plenty of QC issues that I've resolved with this machine. So we'll see with the M16 what sort of fruit it has to bear as time goes on. And again, hopefully I will get one to do a direct side-by-side comparison so that any true questions can be put to bed. But from what I've seen so far, people that have gotten their hands on it, the 3060 and 3D Mark is benching a little over 8,000. This machine is still benching nearly at 9,500. And even though that's just synthetic, I also don't think the extra resolution, as much as I'm the guy that would love to have a 4K OLED here and even forget about the high, refresh rate of 165 hertz, I can't imagine the extra resolution being beneficial with the 3060, unless, again, the TDP is significantly higher. Here we top out at around 100 watts, unless they've somehow, which they may have, again, I haven't seen any real information on this, bump that 3060 up to 130 watts like the Legion 7 that I'm currently reviewing. I just can't see justifying the M16 right now over the G15. But I'm curious what all of you think. So chime in the comments, let me know. We have a real price now for what you're getting in terms of specifications. It's no longer speculation, no more vaporware. It's real. It's here, even though it's not here, and hopefully I will have it here to share with all of you. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. And please stay safe. Later.